It's challenging.
Mass count, bro. You got the mass count for me?
Oh, this is a weird one today.
Yeah, a little
So
bit.
we are
A little bit.
recording on July 14th, and I think we mentioned last time that we probably should say the date a couple here and there because of things may have changed by the time you're hearing this.
I've also been putting on our thumbnail the actual date of the recording. So if you
Yep,
guys
so
pay attention,
that should help too.
it should help to let you know when it's been recorded. So
So this is kind of important though, why I'm saying that. So we're at the mass shooting, the count is 295.
295.
And 295. So we've had several mass shootings in the past few days. There was 3 on the 12th,
Mm-hmm.
2 on the 13th, and 1 happened today in Chicago. Now, dang, hold on. This one in Alabama, 9 injured, 4 killed.
No surprise there.
I didn't even hear about this.
Mm. Mm.
And the
Wasn't important enough,
suspect
I
was
guess.
not killed or arrested in Birmingham, Alabama. Now, if you haven't heard about that one that happened yesterday on the 13th, you will not be blamed and you will not be faulted because there was a slightly bigger mass shooting that happened.
A little bit bigger.
Bro, they done tried to shoot Trump in Pennsylvania.
They try to get that boy up out of there. They
These
did.
fools actually went for the assassination attempt and missed.
Straight up miss, bro.
You
That's crazy.
best not miss if you come for the king. You know how that go. What are you
Mm-hmm.
doing?
Yeah.
That was the worst thing. So look, that was the worst thing that could, like, that was not on my bingo card.
Mm.
That was not on my bingo card.
Mm.
And this is right ahead of the freaking the RNC, Republican National Convention, that's
Yeah.
happening in Milwaukee,
Mm-hmm.
which is happening on Monday, and this joint happened on Saturday. So Trump is seen, he's talking to the crowd, he's making a point about something, he's one goes from one teleprompter, I think, to the other teleprompter.
I really see something that
and
said,
is
take a look at
happens
what
to turn
happened.
his head. And at that point is when a sniper dude was like, I think they're saying something like maybe like 100 yards away, like
Yeah.
not even that far, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
On a roof, and he fired as many as 8 rounds from an AR style rifle with when he was perched on this rooftop adjacent to the venue,
Mm-hmm.
and he hit Trump in the ear. Hit Trump in the ear, and so he let off about 8 rounds, and like a person died. A person died. So like one of the round, I don't know exactly who he was intending for. You like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We
It's
don't know his
it's
motives.
yeah. It's strange. Like
We don't know his
when
motive because it's like, is it a mass shooting or was it an assassination attempt?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Or also was it political violence? Like
That's one of the things that's one of the
like
phrases
is
that's
it?
been
But
thrown
it's
around.
all a question because it's like,
Mhm.
does maybe he's like your regular degular American mass shooter. Look, we had one in Alabama,
Yeah.
and he just picked this big event
Mm-hmm.
potentially, or it
Mm.
it could be some joint where it's an assassination attempt because he like wants to make a name for himself. He wants to go down in history books or something like that. And
That's
this is a big
possible.
event to do it. Or it could specifically be he is anti-Trump. And that is a political
That would be politically expedient for sure.
we don't know if it's politically motivated or how the FBI is going to investigate it. But either way, this was the worst thing that could have happened. We want to beat these people, like, and if it's politically motivated, as much as I think that Trump is bad for democracy, and as much as I have like a lack of faith in Biden's potential to make it to the election just with his health and wellness and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
um, with all that said, like, we want to beat these people with ideas. because we have better ideas on this normal side of democracy, a well-functioning democracy. What they doing over there is really trying to turn this into back to a monarchy. They don't. I don't know if they don't see it or they're doing it intentionally, because like I've heard the interviews of people saying like, yeah, if I could have I'd rather have a dictator Trump than a President Biden, is what they're saying. Like I never thought I would wish for a dictator, but I would take a dictator Trump, is what they're saying. So like
That's absurd.
It's going to be like a Putin type situation, and which can evolve to a freaking monarchy. The whole thing, the whole idea about America is getting away from this monarchy. But we have to make the case at the ballot box, and we have to make the case in political ads. You make the case on podcasts, on interviews, in your campaign. You make the case, and that's how the case is being made. And the rest of us are making the case. And this one freaking dummy, when he ran out of ideas and he couldn't make the case, so he figured he goes to a gun. That's the future we don't want. We're like, that's like being in that. That's what's going to happen all the time. You see all the elections in Mexico, how many people died?
A lot of people died. Yeah. A lot of people died.
In Mexico, running for office, just like, that could be us. We're like, okay, if you run for president, if you want to, like, one of the leaders of the pro-Trump Project 2025 suggests there will be a new American revolution. His name is Kevin Roberts. He said that the revolution will be bloodless if the left allows it to be. He said this like weeks ago. He said the revolution is happening, and it could be a bloodless revolution. We could have a peaceful transition to this revolution, to this new America, well, however they envision it. Although they don't realize it looks like a theocracy to me. That's why we don't want that revolution. And in a theocracy where the central person is Trump, not God, not the Bible, not the God of the Bible that y'all know, right? But if this was politically motivated, they can stand on their 10 toes and be affirmed that, oh, y'all shot the first shots though. The left did it. He said, if the left allows it to be. And 2 weeks later, oh, looks like the left ain't gonna allow it to be. But we're at 295 in mass shootings, and one of those mass shootings may have been the mass shooting that is the fork in the road between the new America and saving the remnants of whatever the fuck we have now that allows for people like this to even be walking around like eligible to like pick up a weapon and cause this kind of chaos. This is like 9/11 type stuff right here. I'm tired of living in historic times like 9/11.
Okay.
No, dog. I want to live in boring times. If you get a fortune cookie, dog, that say you will live in interesting times, it's like, God, pack it up. Pack it up. It's way too many stuff. Like, Jeff, how many things like could you think right now that like since we've been alive that like, when you read history books and like they only give you the highlights of what went on in history. How many highlights in our lifetime? Like, and this is just 30, 40 years, right? Versus all of American existence, freaking 160, 100, 200 years.
I mean, it's been quite a bit. I mean, obviously 9/11, the 20-year war, whatever you want to call it. School shootings.
Yeah.
I mean, it's COVID.
Reagan.
Reagan, yeah. I mean,
he got shot to freaking the first black president.
First black president, yeah. First black African American woman
VP.
Vice VP. I mean, it's been quite a
the overturning of Roe v. Wade. The ending of affirmative action.
That first black African American woman the president. That's a president that became the president of Harvard. First
Yeah.
black. Like it's been a lot of firsts.
Harvard.
Like it's a lot of firsts.
It's a
Like
lot of like
and she Haitian.
historical stuff.
And she
Yeah.
Haitian. Like so like it's a lot of stuff that has
The
happened. That's like wow.
pandemic. You didn't even in the
I did.
pandemic.
Yeah, I said COVID. That's why I
You
said
said
COVID
COVID.
because
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I
Bruh, like
mean,
this is like when
it's been
people wrote stories about polio
a
and shit
lot
like
of
that. We have
things. Yeah.
COVID.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
And
it's
could
a
this
lot.
is potentially the when we read about the Civil War, this is like we're gonna be in those stories.
Mm,
We could potentially be that first generation
hmm
that like before, they're gonna change the name of the country. It's not gonna be it's not gonna be United States of America no more. They're gonna change the name. This is crazy. We're living
That's a
in
bold
historic
prediction.
times. Huh?
That's a bold prediction to make.
I mean, it could be a 30, 40 year span. You
Hmm
know what I mean? But
To
that's
name it
how it went
to
back.
name a country something completely different.
Yeah.
Has any other countries
Yeah, yeah.
has any
Like
other
look,
country?
when you think about the Soviet Union breaking apart, all these countries that are named over there are like new names.
Yeah, it's new name. Yeah,
Those are like
then
new
it's slide
names.
into Russia. Okay, yeah,
Belarus is
Belarus.
Belarusian, and then it was
Yeah,
called something else. You know what I mean? The People's
yeah.
Republic of China was called something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like in our lifetime, I think.
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
Freaking,
that's a fair point. Yeah, actually, think about it like that. Hmm
freaking. I think Barbados just got their independence.
Yeah,
Bro.
that's
Yeah.
wild, bro. Like, yeah, yeah,
Like,
just recently. Yeah.
uh, the Supreme Court a few weeks ago. So there's a much anticipated case that was with the Supreme Court, and they came down with the wise decision of the Supreme Court that ex-presidents have immunity from prosecution for anything that is deemed an official act. This was 2 or 3 weeks ago. Um,
That boy Trump, man.
this was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Finesse God, bro.
They have to now.
Bro, his reach knows
They
no bounds, bro.
they have to freaking. The judge now has to kind of review the entire case, and they had to postpone the sentencing because she has to review what can we parse out, and is it significant enough that we can
hmm
parse out that something was an official act versus an unofficial act.
hmm
And and once I figured that out, does that change the verdict? Would he need a new trial, or does
hmm
that change the, because that wasn't the law before, he was prosecuted by the old law.
hmm
I don't know if this is retroactive, but or maybe it might be the same because that case wasn't finalized yet or something like that. I don't
hmm
know.
hmm
Um, part of the appeal, but like
Ex-presidents are in
the
what?
sentencing itself might change because of like you figure out the what's official, what's not official,
Yeah, yeah.
or they could just dismiss the whole
Because the
case.
precedent is going to be different for each, depending on
Yeah.
what he's been
Or they could just
prosecuted.
dismiss the whole case, man. The court's conservative majority held on July 1st that presidents are completely immune from prosecution for things they did through core constitutional powers of the presidency. They specified those core powers include presidential pardons and communications with the attorney general, but didn't list everything that's included. So some of the rest, we're just gonna have to figure it out.
Hmm
And so it leaves open that the same scenario that legal experts have been breathlessly talking about,
hmm
how many they're saying the outlandish legal theories of immunity for even assassinating a rival, and other autocratic behavior. Because you can say, hey, I think that person was a threat to democracy, so I'm protecting the democracy as an official act. SEAL Team 6, get him. And he's also immune, so you can't go back and be like, oh, you assassinated your opponent. Hey, but I'm immune. It was official. How's that not monarchy?
Bro,
How's that not a setup for a monarchy? Like we could see it.
that is that
We
is
could see it coming, dog. And in
I
our
am flabbergasted. That is I don't even know what to say.
this is the potential threat, right? And so pivoting real quick, So I'm painting a picture here. Ride with me.
That's clear.
In a survey of 1,500 registered voters, 80% said Biden was too old to run for a second term. And that's including 76% of Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
This
You
is
can't
who
you
is
can't tell
holding
Democrats not to
down the fort of
yeah.
democracy.
Yeah, you can't tell even Dems. You can't tell them not to trust what they saw with their
Oh,
own eyes.
I saw with my own
Saw with their own
eyes,
eyes. You can't tell them not to
though.
trust what they saw with their own eyes. Like we see it.
Biden,
We all see it.
after that crazy debate, after that crazy debate, Biden went on to like a he went to did the rounds, did some
Of
interviews, trying
course.
to get out there,
Of course. He's
you
trying to
know.
trying to get ahead of it.
But he still wasn't. If you're so far behind and you have that you fell so hard on your face or that debate, you gotta knock it out the park. Next thing you do, right?
Mm.
Bro, this dude went on did an interview with George Stephanopoulos, and he was like, it was mid.
Mm.
He's like, it was mid. Bro,
Mm.
this was your comeback tour? Wait a
Mm.
minute. Your comeback tour, bro. Come on. You know what I mean? And so it was mid. He did some interviews at some black stations, some black radio stations, right? Some
Okay.
some smaller markets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out we found out later that his team sent the questions in advance to the radio station.
Were those questions given to you by the White House, or did you have, or the campaign, or did you have to submit questions ahead of this interview?
The questions were sent to me for approval. I approved them.
Okay, so the White House sent the questions to you ahead of the interview.
Yes.
Okay.
I got several questions, 8 of them, and the 4 that were chosen were the ones that I approved.
Okay. And the reason I ask is not a criticism of either view. It's just that if the White House is trying now to prove the vim, vigor, acuity of the president, I don't know how they do that by sending questions first before the interview so that the president knows what's coming.
Son, this your comeback tour to show us that you with it, that you on top of your game, and your campaign had to do that? And then it comes out in one of those stations where they came back and they asked them to edit some of the stuff out.
Okay.
Dog, this your comeback tour and you slipping
All
like
right.
this?
Mm.
Remember all of that stuff I read earlier about what the potential of Trump is gonna be?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
At so if you there's we'll add a link in the show notes for where you can go to the radio station's website. They they got caught up on all this, and so they had to they had to create a whole site. They
Mhm.
created a site to talk about it and to apologize about it and all that kind of stuff. At one point it says at the time mark, so here's the 2 ones that were deleted. At the
Mhm.
time mark, 5 minutes and 20 seconds, the removal of, quote, and in addition to that, I have more blacks in my administration than any other president. All other presidents combined and in major positions, cabinet positions. They're like they had to remove that. That's just like factually inaccurate. Like all of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All that was just factually inaccurate. But he
Mhm.
had said it, and they removed it when they broadcasted it.
Yeah.
At the time, 15, in reference to Donald Trump's call for the death penalty for the Central Park Five, the removal of they. So this is what they removed. He goes, I don't know if they even call for their hanging or not, but but he but they said convicted of murder.
What?
That's
I'm
right.
I'm so lost right now.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. Exactly.
I'm very
That's the guy
confused.
who's saving democracy. That guy,
Wow.
bro, I don't even know if he knows what he said. Oh
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
Duh.
Well
What
played.
are you talking about? Oh my gosh. So several
Yeah.
more lawmakers joined a group already. I'm freaking crying over here. So several more lawmakers joined a group on Friday that's calling for Biden to step down. We're talking about
Mhm.
folks in Congress now.
Mhm.
They're making it. There's at least 19 Democratic members of Congress that are calling for, and like I think one senator, and like so that's like 18 House members. Bruh, bruh, this is our first line of defense. And you know what? You
Gotta
know what?
hang
I'm
it
gonna say
up.
this. I'm gonna say this. I know I was advocating hard for Kamala, but
Mhm.
nonsense, fall back. Because what's gonna happen is he's gonna drop out or something like that, and then it's gonna fall on her, the inevitable loss. Because Trump just won this election. You saw that photo with his fist. He's got his fist in the air with the American flag in the background with blood
I,
on his face.
I said it. I said it earlier. I was like, bro, this is gonna boost his ratings like
Bro,
crazy,
that boy
bro.
just got reelected. That picture is gonna do
Yeah.
the rounds. And you thought there was
That
an
joint,
occult before. You
that
thought
joint
they
might have.
had you thought they had dog. He literally went down and then they picked him up and he came back up with the fist. He's like risen. He's like risen.
Let's not do that.
Jeff, put your help,
Nah.
Jeff, in their shoes. In their shoes. Is that not risen to them?
In their shoes is more of like
They already think
I'm
they
I'm
already
well, I wouldn't say untouchable. I'm bulletproof.
he's a godlike figure to them.
Is
He's a godlike figure to them.
but with that to them, yeah, it's more of like, oh, this guy can't be. We can't get rid of this guy.
I
This
feel
guy
like
is,
it's almost like
yeah.
even if Joe Biden or the Democrats win the election, I like I don't.
January 6th part 2.
Yeah, like it's gonna be for real this time. That was warm ups.
Mm.
So like you're damned if you do. If he wins, if the Democrats win, I think things are really gonna pop off. If the Democrats lose
Mm.
and Project 2025 goes in full effect, the whole thing about it will be a bloodless joint if the left allows it. Forget about that.
That is
There's
very
already
cryptic
blood.
to say something like that. That's kind of, yeah, to say something like that. Like I'm looking at you like, what type of time you on, bro? Like
He was
that would
Bruh,
raise some
that
immediate
means
flags
like,
for
dude,
sure.
I can't wait for that dude is like can't wait for
Looking for an
concentration
opportunity.
camps.
Yeah,
He's just looking
yeah,
for a reason.
yeah,
He can't wait for like the mass deportations.
yeah.
We talking about the Trail of Tears? Boy, it's gonna be this trail of blood. That's what the history books are gonna write about it. And that's why I'm tired of living in interesting times.